And I believe that takes us to our final album for our August recap part 2, the albums. And admittedly, this next one is an album, but it's comprised of almost entirely singles. By the time this album dropped, there was only one new song to be talked about. So let's talk about it. Concrete Castles have released their sophomore album, Brand New Me. Featuring their past 10 singles in reverse order, and new song Immortal as the album opener. It's a very interesting way to release the album. To start with You Won't See Me Again and literally just release the album in order. But, like, Immortal being the last song to release is the first, Kill the Lights being the second to last single is the second song, etc., just to make that clear.
Reverse sundowning. What is that?
Reverse sundowning, sure.
What's that? Moon upping.
The thing is, with 10 out of the 11 songs on this album being singles, I think it's impressive how well it all still sounds like a cohesive album.
Yes. Well, yes. But I will say, I guarantee you, if I listened to, like, I only remember selecting, like, select singles that I enjoyed, such as Lucky, So Addicted, Disappear. I think those are the main ones that I've added to playlists. But if I kept track of this release, like as it came out one by one, I would not have enjoyed this album as much as I do right now.
Well, I'm glad that you didn't. For me, on the other hand, I was eating up every single song every single month. This has been... Concrete Castles have carried 2023 as far as I'm concerned. I know I gave Hot Milk a lot of praise just now prior to this. Concrete Castles may have released one of the most flawless albums I've ever heard.
This is pretty good. I really, really enjoyed this.
I think the stretch at the back half of this album of Running from the Daylight through Lucky is one of the best 4 streaks of songs ever.
You know, like,
from the Daylight, Dollhouse, Where Are You Now, and Lucky. Huh?
What about You Won't See Me Again? No?
Eh.
Really?
You Won't See Me Again grew on me a lot as a closer. Like, it was my least favorite song going into the... it was my second to least favorite. Smile is my least favorite song on here. You Won't See Me Again was my second least favorite going into the full album listen. And I didn't expect it to work as much as a closer as it did. But hearing You Won't See Me Again as the closer was like the thing that made me realize what the hell this entire album is about. Concrete Castles, you have to consider that the 3 members of this band are all very young, and they took a risk by like betting on themselves to make this music career work at such a young age. And I think that's what they're trying to say with this album. In Immortal, you kind of start out with like this idea of like a brand new me type of thing. It's like, this is who we are. We are betting on ourselves because we know we can do it type of thing. Yeah, the lyric, I have it here, is we exceeded expectations, classic case of tunnel vision. So like people would doubt them, saying that like, oh, like chasing the music dream is not gonna work. It's like such a big gamble. And then by the end of it, they like spin it and You Won't See Me Again of so you want to spend your money or your time wasting 4 years of your life, which is obviously a jab at all of the people around them that were saying, oh, this music thing isn't going to work. And then they go off to college and just follow the basic path. I don't know. I find that story really captivating and really fitting for this band. And especially someone that has recently graduated from college. Like, admittedly, like, it's like a year and a half, 2 years for me at this point.
I didn't realize they were so young. What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like Derek age.
That's fucking me.
So yeah, it's crazy how talented that all 3 of them are in this band for how young they are. But like, I mean, they've been doing so many covers with Under First to 11 that it absolutely paid off and translates into this original material. this is just an album full of earworms, other than Smile. I think Smile is still a little disappointing, but every single chorus on this album is extremely catchy. The guitar work and the bass lines are extremely fun and memorable. Especially Disappear Like Magic, you get that little bass lick before the final chorus. It's just so good. So fucking good. So Addicted is another song that really highlights the bass.
This is messing with my head. Like even though like writing is so good for like so young.
Yeah,
it's messing with it's messing with my head.
And then you also get, I feel like the theme of like this album is dedicated to the people that doubted them. The last 3 songs really highlight that, and Where Are You Now being like that. It's an emotional anthem to like, you wish you could recognize the good times while they were still here type of thing. Because I'm pretty sure Where Are You Now is touching on like them even younger, like in high school, like throwing parties in the parents' basement type of thing. I mean, that's a lyric in the song. Mm-hmm. You get Lucky, where it's like, how'd you get so lucky? Which is, I think, them like admitting that like people think that they didn't put in the time and effort to succeed in this music career, but they've obviously like proven all of them wrong. It's like, oh, how'd you get so lucky? You know?
Mm-hmm. That's who's saying that, dude? They don't even have a lot of listeners. Like, come on.
It is criminal how few monthly listeners they have on Spotify. It is fucking criminal. I'm pretty sure First to 11 has like hundreds of thousands. I don't get it, man. I mean, I kind of get it. Covers can be easier to discover if you're looking up covers for popular songs that they cover, but I think it's crazy how like on how few monthly listeners and how few plays some of these songs have on this album. But I feel like I've kind of hit home the themes across this album well enough, and like how it's a message to the doubters and that like they're glad that they took the road less traveled. To touch on some of the individual songs, my favorite song on here is Running from the Daylight. You get an just incredible vocal delivery. One of my favorite deliveries in the song is the second verse. I want the nightmares. I want the voices in my head. I want them taking control. Just the delivery on that is beautiful. And then it's also just an extremely fun and upbeat song. You get a really sick like breakdown kind of bridge thing. Dollhouse as well is extremely catchy. One of the catchiest choruses of the entire year. I'm so over it, trying to figure it out. Up against the wall, I'll put my head in the clouds, baby, we're going down. Like, it's very repetitive, but it's so fun. Disappear Like Magic is another one of my favorites on here. I'd say that those... God, I'm trying to pick my favorites on this album is fucking difficult.
Mine is definitely the newest one, Immortal. It's just... I get like a big entrancey vibe.
Yes, it's the most grand. It's the most grand song on the album for sure. I think my favorites have to be Running from the Daylight, Where Are You Now, and Disappear. Running from the Daylight just being like my favorite song, just like across the board. Just when I think of like what do I want in a song, that's just an incredible song. Where Are You Now is my second favorite, purely for the emotional attachment I have to the song now. When Where Are You Now released last year, it was a few months out of college for me, and now I've associated them talking about that, like, where are you now? Let me read the lyrics here. I've got it written down. Where are you now? Hope you're doing well. Got your feet on the ground. Now I'm leaving town, but I'll make you proud. This is not goodbye. It's just see you around. Especially that last line of this is not goodbye. It's just see you around. Really hit home for me with, like, how my last year at college went. And leaving that behind, leaving those 4 years behind. Admittedly, they are kind of shedding on the college 4 year, just do what you're told type of thing. But I've associated Where Are You Now with my college experience, and fuck it, you can't take that away from me at this point. And
I really
Magic is just incredible.
The last 3 songs, actually, the 3-song run of Where Are You Now, Lucky, and You Don't See Me Again.
And I would just add Running from the Daylight and Dollhouse onto that. And that's not to say that like other songs early in the album aren't bad either. I think Jealousy has a really fun chorus as well. So Addicted is like groovy as fuck. Like the bass line in So Addicted is one of the most memorable bass lines I've heard in a long ass time. Like I can't think of too many songs that are as driven by the bass since like fucking Eye Opener off of To Better Days. Like, someone remind me of another song that's been like super bass driven that's really fucking good in the past years. I can't think of one.
Panopticon.
Roses by Awaken I Am.
I guess, but I would still take So Addicted over that, probably, personally. I think Smile is the weakest song on here. It's not bad. It's just underwhelming compared to everything else. It feels kind of flat and one-noted, but, like, that's really the only flaw I can give this album. Like, when I said at the beginning of this, like, this is one of the most flawless albums I've ever heard, I mean it. Like, this is more, like, Memphis May Fire and Concrete Castles did the same thing of releasing almost the entire album as singles, and these singles are way more consistent and better than most of those Memphis May Fire singles.
For specifically Derek and Jake, how does this hold up
I see how
to the previous album?
This is better. This is far better, and I say that as someone.
I'm surprised you said that. I feel like Derek's answer is going to be different.
No, it's
not.
Yeah, it's not better.
I Brand New Me. It's like
this
Wish
is
I Missed You.
100% better.
Wish I Missed You was a top 10 album of 2021 for me. This album clears Wish I Missed You as far as I'm concerned.
I 100% agree. I think Wish I Missed You is the only song I have saved from that album. This one, I have everything saved.
Concrete Castles really leaned into more of like a bit of like not even like hard
more
rock,
darker,
slightly darker pop rock than more like the traditional pop rock sound of like an Against the Current, or I guess I want to say a Yours Truly to an extent, but I don't know. This album's definitely darker, and I fuck with it.
I enjoy it a lot more.
I am so sad that they are not coming to Hamden on the Emo Dreams tour with Icon for Hire. Dude, Icon for Hire, Conquer Divide, Concrete Castles would be fucking tour of the year if Conquer Divide and Concrete Castles were both coming and they weren't splitting the bill. It's so sad.
Splitting the bill. I just thought of dinner. Back to the food conversation.
We've come full circle to the
I know sometimes people call tour like bills or whatever.
Yeah, I know. But you just said splitting the bill. Just made me think of food.
Yeah.
So.
I don't think I have too much more to say. It's just, this is some of the best pop rock, period. Now, Derek, if you have any thoughts that you want to say, since I haven't given you much room to breathe.
No, it's okay. You've said a lot of the positive that I would say, and it's not even that I have any negative. It's just I like a lot of what they're doing on here in their darker sound, like you guys said. I do miss a lot of that sound that my favorites off of the first album had. So if you took my favorites from this album and my favorites from Wish I Missed You and put them together, it'd be like album of the year. But as it stands, Smile, Dollhouse, and Lucky, I think, really hold me back from, and Immortal too. Those are the 4 songs that I don't have saved, and I think that they're much weaker than the weaker quote-unquote tracks off of Wish I Missed You. So I'm left with overall higher peaks, but also lower valleys. I think that Wish I Missed You is much more consistent. And because it was so consistently good, that's why I was able to make its way into my top 10. I don't see this doing the same. I think I listened to this 3 times to see if my opinion would change on any of the songs that I wasn't quite as fond of, and it didn't. So it's still a good album. Disappear is fucking phenomenal. Kill the Lights. I mean, You Won't See Me Again. All of these. All the ones that I like, I love. But the other ones I'm like, eh. So I still, having said that, I think this album is definitely worth checking out. And I'm still appalled at how criminally underrated this band is.
Yeah.
They should not be.
We will keep preaching.
Exactly. They should be right up there with, I mean, just to pull another like a stand-up, like, almost, or even like Lights to an extent, I guess. Not that they're
the other thing I want to add. I mean, this is kind of unrelated to the album, but like There's a lot of bands that are like just put out the album and tour. Like Concrete Castles, they put out a lot of like extra content too. They did like behind the scenes videos for every single song on this album.
Mm.
And like you're not gonna get that from most bands. Like they're offering a very rare look into the behind the scenes of what goes into making an album like this. And as someone that would really like to get into like the music video market at some point in the next few years, it's been very eye-opening to like kind of get that look behind the curtain a little bit. And there are very few bands doing it the same way Concrete Castles are. Like, they're just doing everything right. And they deserve all the success.
Does every song have a music video?
I believe so, yeah.
That's crazy.
All 11 of them.
These guys are loaded.
It's all that first to 11 money.
How'd you get so lucky?
For those in the back, this shit wasn't luck. This shit was talent and hard work.
It's true. I saw an acoustic set 1 year ago. It was awesome.
I saw a not so acoustic set.
That sounds
a year
awesome.
and a half ago. They were fantastic. Come back to Connecticut, please. I need to hear this album live.